What's up YouTube, In Your Face Toast here. Today I'm going to be doing a step-by-step video on how to install an oil catch can on your 392 HEMI. Whether it's a Charger, Challenger, or 300, it should all be very similar. And I'll also go over the benefits of what an oil catch can provide your engine with. So this kit is from Billet Technology. This is the oil catch can with the hose end fittings, and the connectors, the spacer, and the mounting bulb. This kit is in matte black. I got the matte black version. This also has the braided hoses right here, and the powder-coated matched end fittings right there. So I just got this in today. I've been waiting a really long time for this. It's exactly 3 months. I ordered this on April 22nd. It's July 22nd now, and so I ordered it exactly 3 months ago. I got it 3 months later. We're going to install this today. One thing to consider about an oil catch can, if you're thinking about it for your car, it can't hurt it. From everything I've read about it, heard from people, there's nothing that it can't hurt you. It don't usually come factory because, you know, the car companies are already complaining that a lot of people don't even check their oil or their transmission fluid or their brake fluid or even their washer fluid for that. And all they want to do is just bring it to the dealer and take care of it. So not installing this is just one more thing to check that the average person that doesn't really care has to check from it overflowing. You don't want this to overflow and then just dump oil into the engine through the hose. So this is an add-on if you're interested. It can't hurt the engine, it's only going to help. So let's get to it and let's go out in the garage and we're going to install this on the Challenger today. Alright, so I just got the hood open of the car. This car has actually been sitting here. It's been really rainy these past couple days. So it's been sitting in the garage. It's actually nice and cold. You want to make sure when the engine's nice and cool when you're doing this, because you'll be touching the metal of the block here in the front. You have the antifreeze right there, the tube, and you're gonna want to make sure this is like nice and cold because you don't want to be like burning your hands or anything. Especially if you're dealing with the oil coming out of the Pcv valve, there could be some leftover residue in there, and you don't want that hot oil getting on your fingers and then or your hand and then burning your hand, and you know, that could be a big problem. So make sure the engine's cold, you know, let the car sit overnight or something, and then work on it in the morning when you get down to do it. The PCV valve is right here, so we're going to be removing this line right here, and this goes in. So what happens in the crankcase is that as air goes in to the crankcase, through the intake there, the vapors get shot up through this PCV valve. Those vapors get run down this line and shot back into the manifold here. Throttle body is here. This is the beginning of the manifold. So what happens is that the vapors come in here and it gets shot in the manifold, and those vapors are condensed oil, like just oil, and then oil gets burned up inside the pistons. And you know, it's an emissions thing. It's supposed to be better for the environment and everything like that. Maybe better for the environment, but it's not that great for your engine, because if you're going to plan on keeping your engine long term, it's going to build up some gunk, some dirt, some possible sludge on the cylinder heads and everything like that. Also, one thing is that oil is a very low octane rating. So if you're looking to get 100% performance out of your engine, the oil being shot into the manifold, it's gonna, you know, it's getting burned with the fuel, it's getting burned with the air, the fuel, and everything like that. And then you're throwing this, so you have like 91 or 93 octane going into your engine. You got air going in your engine, the sparks hitting it, it's combusting, and then all of a sudden it throws really, really, really low octane oil into the engine. And now it's kind of, you might not feel it, but it is degrading your performance a bit. So this should also help that to eliminate that factor. So the first thing we're going to want to do to install this catch can is we've got to remove these wire housing right there. The wires right there are held into the actually top of the valve cover there, and it's just a little plastic clip that's inserted into that threaded area. So we're just going to pull that out with a flathead, and then we'll get to the next step. Alright, now that that's out, it's just a little threaded plastic clip here, so we're just going to put that to the side. You want to be very careful when you're dealing with something like this, because this is actually wires. You know, you don't want to, this is going into the front here, front of the engine, you don't want to mess with the wires too real, you know, you don't want to be putting a lot of pressure or pulling hard. So now that we got that hole free, next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this line out. This is directly connected to the PCV valve right here that goes into the intake, so we're going to pull that out and remove that. And just a quick thing, when you're removing this, you're not actually removing this part right here. This is like the cover. You're actually just removing the tube. So the two tubes right here. So this actually just shiny black line on it right here, not the ends or anything. Those are going to stay. So after removing this line right here, I could already see like a little oil liquid on the side. I smelt it and I was like, whoa, it actually smells a lot of oil. So there was some good amount of oil. But I only have about 1,500 or 1,500 miles on it. I don't drive in the winter or anything like that. So with just that amount of low mileage, I was able to actually smell a significant amount of oil in that. So the next thing with the line removed is we're going to replace those lines. So I have the two, I have braided low hose lines, I opted for those, and the two brass fittings. So we're going to put these brass fittings in the hose, and we're going to, in both hoses, and we're going to connect them to the far PCV valve and then the one going in the manifold. So the bigger one, next to each other you can see one's bigger than the other. The big one is going to be going to the back one of the valve, while the smaller one stays up at the closer one. So I'm going to get those end fittings on there and install those. So these just go right over the top, like so, and that's like what the finished one looks like. So these two right here are going to attach into the far one and the front one. Alright, I got one end on each side installed, and I could already tell that these are too big for where the catch can is going to be placed. So I'm going to have to cut some of them, so that's not a big deal. I'd rather have a little bit more material than not enough. Alright, so the next step here is to install the actual catch can. I have the bowl here with the washer on it, the half-inch spacer that will actually go on the bracket, and I also have a little never seize on the bolt there. I like to put never seize on whatever I'm going to be threading because that way in case I need to take it off, it comes off easier. It's just an extra step for me. You don't have to do that. It just makes it easier if you need to take the bracket off again in the future. Alright, the catch can is fully mounted there on the bracket, and it's nice and tight, but not too tight. You don't want to over tighten anything. While you're tightening it, you want to make sure that you watch the wires in the back here. If they get caught in between the can while you're tightening, it could crimp them or they get stuck. So just make sure you push them out of the way before you fully tighten down on it, and make sure you got enough room. So I have the next fittings for the end of the hose ready to go, but as you can see, I have a ton of extra hose here. So you could really mount it to either side. I could have this side go here and this one go across on top or underneath, or I could put this one on this side and have this one. The way I'm going to set it up is I'm going to take this long one, put it on this side right like that. I got to cut it there. And this one, I just move this over a little bit and this is just going to go right there. So it's a nice like in and out type of look. So before you cut the hose, make sure you put it next to the inlet and outlet area and mark it with a Sharpie or something, and leave yourself a little extra room just in case you misjudge it. You could always cut a little extra off, but you can't add any on. So leave yourself a little extra room, mark it, and make the adjustments when necessary. Okay, I just finished cutting both lines and put the end pieces on. Those just slide right on there. So you just want to make sure this is nice and tightly on there. No kinks, nothing when you look at it. It's a nice straight line for free flow access, nothing crimping up or anything. This is one of the things you want to make sure, like see there's no crimp right there, it's just nice in there. So yeah, that's about it. This is nice and tight in there. So how you would detach it is you just unscrew it like this. All right, and that completes a step-by-step install of an oil catch can on your 392 HEMI. Like I said before, I got mine from Billet Technology. I got the matte black with the matte hose fitting endings and the braided hose. I think that looks awesome on the 392. It's all black and it blends right in and it looks like it's part of the engine and it's like meant to be there. But they offer a ton of different colors, matte colors, shiny colors, satin, polished, everything. You get the same color as your car, something different. I've seen a lot of cool combinations, and I think they're all awesome. But let me know in the comments below if you're planning on getting one, and if you are, what color you're getting and what configuration, because I'd love to hear from it and love to see it. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you again in the next video.